Hello and welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer. A link to the Praying with Teresa of Avila website has been provided below to enable you to find the notes and audio of today's presentation, Teresian Prayer, prepared by Carmelite Nuns, Carmel Clarion, January through March 2001. Part 1, Introduction, Teresa's experience of prayer. We have only to look to Teresa to discover the elements that make a Carmelite vocation and how to live it in an adequate way. This applies too in the area of prayer, the center and characteristic mark of Teresian life and charism, and because of this, the principal component of Carmel's place in the Church. Saint Teresa's person and message, along with the Carmel itself, cannot be explained without speaking of prayer. The study of Teresian prayer gives us access to the whole of her life and teaching, while allowing an understanding of the Carmelite vocation. Today's person has the right to expect from us the experience of prayer. It is through Teresa that the Carmel has become known in the Church as a praying community. All the elements that make a qualified teacher of prayer can be found in Teresa: vast experience, profound understanding of grace received from God, ability to communicate her experience. She writes, "For it is one grace to receive the Lord's favor, another to understand which favor and grace it is, and one more to know how to describe and explain it." These three mystical graces make Teresa a qualified teacher of prayer, while mapping out for us the subjects for studying Teresian prayer: experience, doctrine, and pedagogy. So let's take a look at Teresa's experience of prayer. To understand Teresa's message, knowledge of her experience is necessary. It's from her experience, where she saw the essential elements of Christian life, that she drew her knowledge. A schematic helps us grasp her word and message. Three periods are apparent in the development of Saint Teresa's prayer. The first period was characterized by easy and spontaneous prayer. Teresa took to prayer. The second period was more difficult. Teresa experienced testing prayer from an adolescent crisis that was triggered by her mother's death, all the way up to the time of her definitive conversion in 1554. The difficulty that Teresa experienced had a twofold source. First was Teresa's inability for discursive or methodical reflection and thoughts that ran wild. Secondly, Teresa's resistance to embracing the way of love and the contradictions in her lifestyle. The third period is a period that begins with Teresa's entry into mystical life in 1554, the year of her definitive conversion. From now on, she will no longer fall back, but only ascend. She avoids occasions of sin and spends more time in prayer. God lavishes his attention upon her. She states, "Now then, when I began to avoid occasions and devote myself to prayer, the Lord started to grant me favors." So a careful study of mystical prayer allows us to discover that it is a communication of God, a personal communication to the human being. The person experiences this communication each time to a greater level inwardly until it becomes personal communion. For mystical prayer for Teresa is about a person-to-person relationship, a friendly communication. God is more active in the prayer than the person. In friendship, friends take first place, and all else becomes secondary. End of part 1. Part 2 addresses Teresa's method of prayer. Amen.